Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Elmara coming to you with the 100 Miracles in 100 Days project and a effortless manifesting and awareness activation quickie. And we are at Miracle 24. And we're going to be doing it on dyslexia because of some shenanigans that have been going on. So let's just do our quickie, effortless manifesting and awareness activation first. Taking a big, long, slow belly breath in, holding it for as long as is comfortable, and then breathing out through the mouth. And letting go of everything that's outside this moment. Let's do that 3 times. And feel your awareness coming within. Once your awareness is within you, you can return your breath to in through the nose and out through the nose, unless you're releasing. So the very first thing we're going to do is throw our body out the window or out the door and breathe. Everything you know about your body, height, weight, shape, age, etc. All your gripes, knee pain, leg pain, back pain, headaches, whatever, skin rashes, throw them all out the window. And see if you don't feel just a little bit lighter without all those stories rattling around inside of you. The crow certainly thinks that you will. I've been so noisy all morning. And then bring your awareness into your identity, who you are, your name, address, phone number, kids, cats, dogs, pets, family, qualifications, degrees, throw all that out the window. Or door and breathe. Just breathe. Breathe into the stillness that you can feel awakening now. You don't have all that stuff going on. Just remembering this is a effortless manifesting and awareness activation quickie. If you've just found us today, please go back to the very first recording and listen to that. It will explain the full awareness activation there. But for those of you who've been following us, we should be able to just go body out the window, identity out the window, next one for us, just throw them all out the window and be there. Or wake up and just be in your awareness. That's what happens to me now, but I'm doing this all for your benefit. So now we're just going to bring our awareness into all of our feelings, emotions, and strong opinions, or any opinions really. Throw them all out the window or out the door into another room and breathe. Bring awareness now into your thoughts. Your unconscious mind, your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind, and throw all those out the window or out the door and breathe. See if you can feel some of that 99% untapped pure potential. And bring your awareness into your heart. Your beautiful, beautiful heart. And I want you to ask all heartache, all heartbreak. So every time someone has broken your heart, or you feel they had, and you had this ache in your heart, so someone may have passed away, you may have lost a pet or a child or whatever it is, all of that stuff, along with the heart wall, I want you to toss that out the window or out the door. Because we place these walls around our heart to stop us getting hurt. But the problem with that is that it stops the love getting out as well. And so what keeps getting reflected back to us is the poop. Whereas if you open your heart up to more love and send it out, people can usually find that love and reflect it back to you. So just breathe. We actually ask people who have lost animals, and we're trying to help them, the animals come home, happens a lot around here up in the hinterland, to open their heart and send love to the animal. Because what happens is the animal's lost and it's confused. And then the owners become really stressed and worried, and the pet can't feel them or find them, or can't feel them to find them to come home, if that makes sense. So we often ask the owners to open their heart, despite all the stress that's going on, and send them bucket loads of love. Remember when they came to them as a puppy or a kitty, or, you know, or just remember some loving moment they've had with them, and send all that love to them. And usually the animals are home within a day because they remember that love and they can find their way home then. Breathe. Good thing to remember if you've lost a pet. Just breathe. And I want you to continue just breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the nose unless you're releasing, and listen. That's all you have to do is listen. If you're at this point, you can, if you want to manifest something, this is at that point where you're fully connected to your source. Well, actually, I haven't said the bit now. Just see if you can feel your 99% untapped pure potential. This is your awareness. This is who you are without all the stories about who you are. About, you know, your body shape, or whether you need to lose weight or put on weight, or your boobs are too small or too big, or you're bald or you're short or you're tall. All that stuff is just programming from the outside world to stop you from accessing this magnificence within you. Doesn't that blow your friggin' mind? The same with telling you you need a degree to be, you know, intelligent. Today's miracle will sort that one out for you. And just all the other stuff that goes on. All the thoughts in your head, your ego that says you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, too short, too tall, too bald, too thin, too fat. And it just all keeps you away from this magnificence of who you are. The 99% untapped, pure potential, pure God source that is connected to everything, all time and space, all dimensions of light, all universes, galaxies, star systems, planets, the whole bang lot of it. And imagine if you connected into this and then just asked, how can I manifest $100,000 this year? How can I manifest $1 million this year? How can I have $1 million idea? Show me. How can I have a fit and healthy, strong and powerful body? Show me. So when you get to this 99% can help you get there faster than you're trying to do it from the 1%. So just keep breathing into your 99% untapped, pure potential, pure God source, while I talk a little bit more about today's miracle. So today's miracle has definitely come up as dyslexia. I just tried to pay for something with my credit card and I got all the numbers asked about because I am partially dyslexic. I also noticed when I was listening to yesterday's recording, which is what I do every day before I do this one, that I had mucked up, like from throw your body out the window. Then I said throw your identity out the window, but use body things like height, weight, shape in there in the identity. Some of you may have picked it up, some of you may not have, but that's a dyslexic thing. And it doesn't matter to me because I still know who I am on the inside. So as a child, I was fully toilet trained and walking at 8 months old. My brother was 15 months older than me and I just copied him. But the problem with walking at that young age, all these people who encourage their kids to walk early, don't do that because they need to get that crossover in the brain happening through crawling. So let your kids just crawl as long as they need to, and then they'll just stand up and walk when they're ready, because if they don't get that crossover in the brain properly happening, then they'll have learning challenges. And because they just, they see things back to front. There's a whole bunch of kids that grew up in shacks on the beach where in Bellygoat Bay. We had a shack in Bellygoat Bay, and in Greenhead and Lemming, they all lived in shacks off the bay, all the fishermen's children, and they were just in a playpen on sand. They never ever crawled, and when the whole lot of them went to school at 5 years of age, none of them could learn. They had to get specialists in from Perth to get all these kids crawling around at 5 and 6 years old to do the crossover in their brain thing. It was fascinating. But anyway, so consequently, when I go to school, we have a book. We used to, I don't know that they still have them now for grade ones, but our book was, this is Dick, this is Dora, this is Nip, this is Fluff. Dick is a boy, Dora is a girl, Nip is a dog, Fluff is a cat. That was the whole book. And I was doing reading practice with my father, and I stuffed that up, and he yelled at me. And I was terrified of my father. And so I learned to read, but I never really had a big vocabulary. Because when it got to reading and comprehension in high school, got to remember I'm much older than a lot of you, so I don't think they do it this way now. But when I got to high school, our subjects were mathematics, mathematics, science, social studies, and reading, and English. And part of English was reading and comprehension. And you were always given a book to read. Now, at the time, I thought I was doing something so wrong. But now I'm older and wiser, I realise I was just smarter than everybody else. But I was the kind of kid who left everything to the last minute, all exams and everything, or whatever. I would leave all the study, cram it all in the night before. If I had a project to do, I'd cram it all in the night before and get it done before I had to go to school. And it was the same with reading and comprehension. You'd be given a book to read and I'd never read it because it was too hard for me. But this is what I would do. When the questions came as the test or the homework or whatever, I would open the book to the index and look at the first question and read it. And then I would just run my fingers down the index until it stopped. And if it was chapter 13, I would then go to chapter 13, close my eyes again. I did that closing my eyes. And I'd get to chapter 13 and I'd close my eyes and I'd run down the pages again until it stopped, and there was the answer. How cool is that? I think that's really cool now, but at the time, I was terrified that my father would see me doing that and give me a hiding for it. So as a consequence of doing that, I was an advanced English student, and I was the one who knew that I didn't read the books. And so I remember distinctly going to my teachers and begging them to be put down a grade, to put me down to an intermediate student. And they couldn't understand it because it's not like I had to go into another class. We were a small country town with a small school. Basic, intermediate and advanced were all in the one class. So it's not like I wanted to get into another class because there was someone particular I wanted to be with. I just was terrified my father would find out and think that I had been cheating. That's kind of the theory of that. So fast forward a decade or so and I'm at work. I went around 25 years of age. I left my finance and banking career and went to sales and marketing because people used to tell me all the time, oh God, you could took the leg off the horse. You'd be so great at sales and marketing. So I applied for a sales job at a new newspaper called the Western Mail newspaper and got the job, ironically, and was their top salesperson for 2 years until the Western Mail newspaper closed down. And I went from there and began selling. It's going to sound funny now, but computer training courses. Again, you know, nobody does computer training because they're so much easier now than what they were 50 years ago, 40 years ago. But, I didn't even know what Excel was. I didn't know what WordPerfect was. I didn't know what Word for Windows was. I didn't know what, can't remember. Oh, something beautiful smell is coming in the window. I didn't even remember what, sorry, I think an angel's just come by. Exquisitely beautiful smell. Well, I didn't put my lavender on this morning, so it's not that. Oh my God. It'd be really cool if you could tune in after yesterday's miracle. See if you can't smell what I'm smelling. Because man, is it delightful. Sorry. So beautiful. I've done a 5-hour meditation this morning, so might have something to do with that. So I was then selling, and again, one of the top people, selling training courses when I didn't even know couldn't even work a computer myself at that stage. And so, and I was one of their top salespeople there as well. And then I was poached and went to another computer company and set up their telemarketing division to sell training programs for them. Now, when I first started the first corporate course, this is what I really wanted to tell you about this. They wanted to do a psych test on me and evaluate how smart or not smart I was. And it came back saying that I was in the top 2% of intelligent people in the world. I was like, what the? What the fuck? They've made a mistake. I didn't think that back then because I wouldn't have sworn back then. I was such a dainty, precious thing that was doing everything that everybody else wanted me to do. But I was like, what the? They've made a mistake. But I went from earning, like in the bank, like $15,000 a year to earning $35,000 a year, which again doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a heck of a lot of money back then. I more than doubled my income to go to my first corporate job, and they said I was in the top 2% of intelligent people in the world, and I got the job. And I didn't care. I thought, they made a huge mistake. So much for their friggin' psych test. They have no clue what they're talking about. Because my father had told me I was dumb, and I had believed that I was dumb because I couldn't spell, and I had this, what I used to always say, I've got a tick and draw, a nip and fluff type vocabulary. And just as a little side note, you can tell when I'm channeling, because sometimes these huge words come out of my mouth that I sometimes don't even know how to spell. And when I've finished doing whatever I'm doing, I go back and look it up to find out what the word means. Because I really did seriously have, it's a bit better now, I seriously have a dick and door and nip and fluff type language back then. So anyway, I get this first corporate job, and because they went from having one training program like every few weeks till I set up this telemarketing team. I'd never done that before, and we were fully booking, they had fully booked 3 training rooms in advance, 6 weeks in advance. That was cash money for them. These programs were $400 each for a 2-day training program, say, and they'd have 10 people in them. $4,000 a training program. They had 3 rooms tied up. So they went from broke and poor and struggling and, a staff of and I can't remember if it was 9 or 10 people, to by the time 12 months later, they had a staff of 42 people, thanks to the work that we did. But then the boss came in and belittled me in front of my staff, and it was the first time I stood up to someone, stood up to a man who was, and I went in, I rang and left a message on his voicemail. That man was so dumb. No, I shouldn't say that. He was given the rights to do voicemail, and he just never did anything with it. And of course now everybody has voicemail on all their phones and everything. But he was the first person in Australia to be given it to him, and they took it off him because he just didn't think it would work. But I rang and left a message on his voicemail saying, if you ever belittle me again in front of my staff, that's it, I'm gone. And he rang back and left a message on my phone saying, because I'd walked down, we need to have a talk about this. And I remember walking in and slamming my fist on his table and going, you're damn right, we need to talk about this. Anyway, it was all downhill after that, and I left because someone else doubled my wages and offered to pay me $70,000. I was poached. But the story of that is that I did 5 corporate jobs, and all of them said that I was in the top 2%. One person I think said I was in the top 1%. I had one that said I was in the top 2, another one that said I was in the top 3, and there was another one that said I was in the top 5. But between 1 and 5% of the top intelligent people in the world. It took all of those side tests for me to go, maybe my bloody father was wrong. Maybe I am smart. But it also took me another wee while, maybe a decade, to recognise that intelligence has to do with your ability to get along with many different types of people in the world, and I'm really cool at that, compared to people who have just regurgitated stuff, who can't think for themselves. Intellect and intelligence are 2 completely different things. Breathe. I guess what I'm trying to explain to you here is that you have the ability, no matter what people tell you. My father told me I was dumb. A lot of highly spiritual and intelligent people are dyslexic because we just don't think the way. Our brains aren't wired the way that ordinary, everyday people's brains are wired. And as I said, sometimes when I'm speaking to people, a word comes out of my mouth. I remember the first time it happened. I remember so clearly the first time it happened. I was with a friend reading some writing she wrote, and I went, oh my God, you really should write. You are such a prolific writer. We're having this conversation. You're such a prolific writer, I'm saying to her. And then for a moment I step out and go, and I must be channeling or something because I have no freaking clue what the word prolific means. And so she tells me what it means, and then now, but I just recognise afterwards, it's like I'm outside myself and go, did I say that? What is that word? How do you even spell it? And thank God for Google, because these days, even if you try and spell it and you get it wrong, they will give you the correct spelling for it. So that's my story about dyslexia. I wanted to share that with you in case any of you have been told that you're dumb or you're stupid, and I want you to know that underneath all the bullshit, underneath the identity, there is perfection, and your answers are always there. They will always come to you if you ask for them. Same with you see people going, I've lost this, I've lost that, where's this, where's that, and when you're going, I've lost my keys, that's a really cool one. Like, you're so friggin' intelligent, you can just go to bed at night and say to your angels, tell me where my keys are. Now, I don't have to do that at night time now. When I was younger, years ago, I would just point my finger and spin around in a circle. When I stopped, where's this? Like, where's my keys, or where's my wallet, or whatever? Spin around in a circle. Where I stopped, I would head in that direction. Got a wonderful crystal story about that, but I might share that another day. But that's what you can do. But eventually, because when you're going, I can't find it, you're so powerful, you can't find it. How many times do you lose keys and then you see them just sitting on a desk right in front of you when you stop bloody stressing and carrying on? So that's our miracle for today. You can be dyslexic like I am, but that's also the reason that I speak these things and keep hoping that someone will find them and go, hey, Elle, I'll write your book for you. because writing is a pain in the ass for me. So just breathe for me. And those of you who know me well will know when you first meet me, I correct all of my, messages that I type to you, and after I've made a connection with him, I go, work it out yourself, because it's actually been statistically proved, so long as all the right letters are there, your brain will correct it and make it right anyway. So I trust that today's miracle helps you to realize you are an infinitely powerful being of light. Just because you weren't great at school or whatever doesn't mean that you're still not an infinitely powerful being of light, and that you have much to offer the world. Especially if you connect into this 99% untapped pure potential, pure God source that exists within you. Oh my God, this went way longer than I intended. I was hoping it was around a 14-minute one. I don't know how we got this long, but anyway. All the more good juicy stuff for you, because I have been meditating I have definitely been meditating for 5 hours this morning and feel like I could fly to the moon. So just breathe for me. Just breathe. And if you got sidetracked and you're staying connected to your source within, just toss your body out the window, your identity out the window, your feelings, emotions, and opinions out the window. Your thoughts, conscious mind, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, out the window. And then all of your heartache, heartbreak, and heart walls out the window, and just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe into the magnificence of who you truly are. And know that this is who you are, not all your degrees, not your body shape, not any of those things. Just breathe. Just breathe. And remember the magnificence of who you truly are. Okay, gorgeous beings. I have something so special I want to share with you tomorrow, being the 25th activation. We're a quarter of the way through. So, love, love, love. My deepest love.